Welcome to this week's Bible Topics discussion. We're glad you're with us today as we look at why some people don't celebrate Halloween. An interesting and much debated topic.
Yeah. A brief history of Halloween should be mentioned first. To summarize briefly what we discovered in researching Halloween, which is celebrated on October 31st, it appears that it's one of the most, if not the most, important holidays in the world of the occult. It celebrates death and witchcraft and the demonic. You might laugh and say that if demons ever existed, they disappeared long ago. Well, the Bible speaks much about demons, but nowhere does it hint that they disappeared. Instead, they went from one person to another, and according to some people's experiences, are still doing it. Another reason to seek salvation in Jesus. They won't disappear until the earth has been destroyed and people have gone to their eternal rewards, either with Jesus or in hell. Even then they won't disappear, but will be thrown into hell with Satan. This is in Matthew chapter 25, verse 41. Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the fire prepared for the devil and his angels."
Originally, costumes were worn on this night to change the personality of the wearer to allow for communication with the spirit world. Our research says that women use this holiday as an excuse to dress up like prostitutes. You may laugh, but I've seen it right here where we live, right downtown on the sidewalks of this town. Another thing we've seen is that people dress their children up in devil, vampire, witch, or ghost costumes. Do you really want the little ones walking the streets looking like satanic figures? On a night when children are ritually abused? This happens on all satanic holidays and has been documented repeatedly. Yet most people, including many Christians, don't want to hear it. If you're an advocate for abused children, you might want to prayerfully reconsider celebrating Halloween.
Pumpkins carved into jack-o'-lanterns represent an idol, and the light inside represents lost souls flitting about. Animal torture and sacrifice is still practiced on Halloween by occultists. For this reason, many animal shelters will not adopt out black cats during the month of October. If you're an animal lover and protector, you might want to prayerfully reconsider celebrating Halloween.
You may be wondering what God has to say about all this. Let's look at 2 Chronicles chapter 33, verse 6, where it speaks of Manasseh, one of the kings of Judah. He sacrificed his children in the fire in the valley of Ben Hinnom, practiced divination and witchcraft, sought omens, consulted mediums, and spiritists. He did much evil in the eyes of the Lord, arousing his anger. Here's another one. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31. Do not turn to mediums to seek out spiritists, for you will be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God.
Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 through 21 says, "The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God." Here's a quote from Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. "I'm glad that Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least one night out of the year." Maybe instead of celebrating Halloween, you might consider celebrating a much more important Christian event that occurred on October 31st, Reformation Day. That would be a good one to look up and learn about in reference to the beginning of the Protestant Church. There are people who object to celebrating Christmas, saying that people are practicing the pagan ritual of worshiping trees. There are people who object to celebrating Easter because they say it stems from paganism. These things may be true, I'm not sure, but I do know that celebrating Halloween and all it represents with the death, horror, ritual abuse of children and animals does seem a far cry worse to me. That's just my opinion. You can research it for yourself and maybe come up with more than we did.
I think we'll all agree that times seem to be getting worse as far as how people are acting and living these days. Halloween has always been a time of playing tricks and pranks on each other. But these days, people are not just playing harmless tricks, but some are doing much evil to others, evil and criminal acts, to the point of bodily harm or even death. Even back in the 1960s, someone put sugar in the gas tank of June's aunt and uncle 2 years in a row. That's not so evil, but it surely did cause trouble for them. In these days of horrible evil, that prank doesn't seem so bad. But to an older couple, it's a lot of trouble.
Well, that's it for this week. Please like, comment, and share, and let us know if you have any questions. We'd be glad to try to answer them.
See you next week. Be blessed.